God Ordinary podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening last week to my first ever episode, but this week we have a special guest on. Her name is Trissity Jane, and she's just been such a phenomenal impact here in Nashville in the singing community and writing country music, and I love hearing your music when Ike works with you and does video with you, but thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so I've been kind of starting them off kind of like a little icebreaker here in Nashville. You said coffee shop. So what is your favorite coffee shop here in Nashville?
It's kind of hard to choose because there's so many. I just recently went to La La Land for the first time, and, like, it's worth it. The line is crazy, and it's, like, insanely expensive. But if you haven't been, it's so worth it.
So we drove past it because my little cousin was just in town, and she goes, that's the place that everyone's been talking about. My husband doesn't believe that it's worth the hour wait, but I believe that it was worth the hour wait when I went. So I'm with you on that one.
No, it was so good. I just did, like, the online order and then just went and picked it up. And I was like, this is my new favorite spot, even though I don't get it very often because it is kind of insanely expensive.
It's like $8-9 a latte.
For, like, a
little one.
Like, Starbucks Grande size.
Yes. Not that Starbucks is any better in their prices sometimes, but it's okay. It's worth La La Land.
It makes me happy.
Which one did you get?
I got the, well, I've had a couple different ones. I had the pumpkin chai one, which was like, it was literally fall in a cup. Like, it was so good. I miss it every day, actually.
I'm not a pumpkin girl. I'm more of a Christmas girl. Okay. But I'm trying to kind of get into, like, the pumpkin fall flavors. But I love fall.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
I want to try the Mega Maroney one because I know that she just launched her special one.
Is hers a matcha?
So
I can't do matcha.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's just like grass to me.
It looks like grass, though.
I know. I can't do it.
But thank you so much for coming on. Again, this podcast, I just want to be able to have people have an outlet to be able to tell their testimonies. Because even one testimony, I feel like, can change someone's life when God works through them. So can you tell me a little bit about yours, if you want to go all the way back to the beginning of just, were you raised in the church? How did you find the Lord? If you kind of want to just start right there.
Yeah. So I grew up in a Christian household. My parents are Christian, both love the Lord. They're still married to this day.
That's
which,
amazing.
like, I feel like is so rare these days.
It is.
But they're happily married. Like, they really love each other. So I was really lucky with the way that I grew up and my family. And I was really close to my grandmother as well. And my family was just super family oriented, went to the lakes on the weekends. Like, I had a really good childhood, which I know a lot of people weren't lucky to have that, and I really was. But my parents had decided to homeschool me and my two younger sisters. Once we were school age. So I was homeschooled all the way through. So I never actually went, like, to school at all. Like, I was just homeschooled. Which growing up, like, it was hard at times because, you know, all my friends were in public school, and there is a stigma around homeschoolers that, like, they're weird. And there were a lot of weird homeschool kids that we knew. And so my sisters and I really kind of gravitated towards being friends with the kids that were in public school. But the problem with that was that there was always this air of, like, I wasn't always included. And that was really hard growing up, and my mom did, like, a phenomenal job trying to integrate us into kids our age, and she actually ran, like, a young girls Bible study out of my house for me and then all of the girls in our neighborhood.
That's amazing.
But all those girls, like, they went to school together, and I didn't. And so, you know, like, they would come over to my house after school, and they'd all sit around and talk about school and their teachers and the boys at school and just, like, all these things that I was not, you know, privy to. I didn't know what they were talking about. And that was hard growing up because it was just, like, I wasn't the weird homeschool kid, but I still was the homeschool kid.
That makes sense.
And so it was, like, you know, proms and homecomings and stuff. Like, I was going to the homeschool events, you know, and I wasn't getting invited to the public school ones, and they wouldn't let me in because I was homeschooled, and they wouldn't take outside students. And I think a lot of schools have really become more lenient now because being homeschooled now is, like, way more popular than it was growing up. But that definitely was really hard on me, and I ended up joining the swim team, and I had a lot of issues with, like, bullying, because it was the public school swim team and the club swim team, and, you know, I was the one kid that wasn't on the public school side of it.
Okay.
So the way it worked was, like, there was a club, and we practiced at the school, but then you could also be on the school team. So I was, like, the only kid that wasn't on the school team. And so there was just, like, the girls were so mean, and there was just, like, a lot of stuff growing up that honestly made me, like, pretty insecure. Like, as a young kid, like, I really struggled with feeling weird and, like, not feeling like I thought everybody else felt. And as I got older into middle school and high school, I started doing music, which made me feel even more weird because while all my friends were out at football games and, like, doing things together, you know, I was playing in bars and stuff. And I did have a select few friends that were really supportive, but I also had friends that wouldn't come watch me play and only wanted to come see me play when they were getting something out of it and stuff. And so growing up back home, I had, like, such a great childhood with my parents and my sisters, but I really had a hard time connecting with my peers and the people that I was around. And granted, like, my parents always guided me and, like, always talked to me about God and how God sees me and that, you know, it doesn't matter all the other drama, and now it doesn't. Like,
yeah.
That's the thing, like, especially for people listening, like, high school and middle school were so hard for me, and I hated it. Like, I hated my hometown. I hated being there. But now, being away, and, like, I moved to a whole nother state, and I have nothing to do with my hometown, and, like, I don't care about, like, what happened back then. Like, in the moment, it feels so, like, this is it for me. Mm-hmm. Like, this is my life. And once you get away, like, you realize there's so much more to life. So that was kind of, like, my early years in childhood.
Yeah.
And then I believe when I was I don't know, either a freshman or a sophomore in high school, I joined a worship team at a church in Indiana. It was a big church. And that's where I really got into playing guitar, and I got a lot better at music, and I started writing songs, and I started really, really, like, getting into more Christian music at the time. And I was still doing country music too, but it was mostly doing church stuff. And I was really blessed because I was able to start an internship there where I got to run the worship programs for the, like, 3rd and 4th graders and the 5th and 6th graders, which was really cool for me to be able to be in a leadership role like that at such a young age. Yeah.
That's a tough age.
No, I know. Trying to, like, entertain the 3rd graders and, like, get them to sing was, like, it was definitely a humbling experience. Because, like, you know, I would be up there, like, on stage by myself, like, trying to do, like, motions. And they're all just, like, sitting there, like, looking at me. But that was really great and really helped me in my faith. I was always pretty straight-laced as a young kid. You know, I've always kind of been, like, a rule follower and just very, like, on the right path, to be honest. I was scared of everything, you know, like, especially working for the church at that time. You know, I had a reputation I had to uphold, and, you know, I would get in trouble if I posted on Instagram and, you know, was looking a little too provocative, or, like, I was, you know, always getting in trouble with that kind of stuff because I was doing country music too.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to blend the two, and that was really difficult because I've always had the mindset that the church needs us, but the people outside the church really need us.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always kind of been an advocate for people being Christian, living the right way, but also going into the bars and going into these places where people really, really need Jesus. And, you know, that was, like, just a hard world to kind of blend because I had to be able to blend into the world, to be able to have conversations with those types of people, but then I also had to look a certain way for the church. So it was a really, like, difficult kind of situation, and I had a mentor at the time who was, I suppose, my boss.
Okay.
And he really, like, was so supportive of me doing the country music and doing the church music, because he'd been in Nashville before.
Okay.
And kind of had a similar background. Like, he liked to do the same kind of stuff that I was wanting to do. So he was really supportive and really helped me through all of that drama.
That makes sense.
Because there was just a lot of drama. I don't know if you know, but, like, working in a church and being in a church, there's a lot of drama.
I never worked in a church, but I haven't really ever told my story on here, but I have a lot of church hurt back in college. And because I was a leader on one of our college ministry, and there was a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And just a lot of, if you don't look a certain way and you don't follow exactly the way that we want you to follow, you're not following the Lord, is what my church kind of instilled in me, and that's something that I'm still trying to break.
Yeah.
That cycle now. But I understand, especially, I wasn't doing the country music and that kind of stuff, but even just living my life the way that I did, not for being, I would say, missionary, because they were more of go live in these other countries, and if you weren't called to these other countries, what were you doing, basically? Yeah. So that was a very hard thing, because I don't feel like my place in what Lord has called me to do is in other countries.
Yeah, and that's okay, because if God called everybody to other countries, then who would do the work here?
Yeah.
Yes, I 100%
So I understand, yes, there is a lot of background noise that you don't think about working at a church.
Right. And so I went through a lot of that. Like, it was, I've always been the kind of girl that loves to do my hair, loves to do my makeup.
Yeah.
Every single day. Like, there's not a day where I don't do it, because I love it. And it's just who I am.
Yeah.
But the women in the church, there was a lot of, well, you just want to be on stage and to look a certain way. And I'm just like, I've been doing my hair and makeup since I was freaking out of the womb. I was like,
I was homeschooled. No one else was seeing this but my parents, and I just loved it.
Literally. So there was just a lot of that kind of stuff, but I still loved the church. And with the worship team, we actually traveled the country and got to play at different conferences and camps, and I loved it. Like, I miss it sometimes still, because it was such a cool community, and we really were like a family. Yeah. And it was amazing to be like a young girl and basically grow up, serving the Lord. And I feel so lucky, because I know that so many people did not have that. Yeah. And so then college came, and, since I was homeschooled, I really felt the pressure to go to college.
Okay.
Because everybody around me was like, is she going to go to college? Can she get in? Like, there's just a stigma. And I really felt like I had to go to college, even though at the time I didn't want to. I didn't like school. I was not good at it. It was not my thing. I hated it.
Just had to do it.
Yeah. And so then when college came, I was like, I just want to do music. Like, really what I wanted to do was move to Nashville.
Okay.
But I just felt so much pressure, so I was like, sure, I'll go to college. And I kind of, like, looked around at schools and was like, there's nothing I want to do. And the other part, too, was like, I don't want to go into debt for college, because I know at the end of the day, what I want to do, I don't need a degree for.
Yeah.
And so my pastor, my boss, I actually ended up switching churches and working as a worship director just for a different church, but with the same boss. So during COVID, he switched churches and took me with him, basically. And I worked under him at the other church. And I told him, I was like, I feel like I have to go to college, but I don't want to. And he told me about this school called Highlands College.
Okay.
In Birmingham, Alabama. And he was like, well, I know about this place. Why don't you just go there? And it was a ministry school, a Bible ministry college. And I was like, okay, I'll go for worship ministry. Sure. And so I literally, like, went and, like, toured it and then just went.
Okay.
Like, I just went. And there was thought behind it, but also at the same time, I was like, it was, like, April before the school season.
So in August, you start school. So in, like, 4 months. Okay.
Yeah. So it was, like, a fast
I guess thing. I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I'm coming up on the deadline here. Like, I got to make a decision and do something. So I was like, sure, I'll go here. And so I moved to Alabama. I knew nobody. I moved down there. I did not know a soul. I went from like having my sisters who were my best friends and my mom and my grandma to like moving down there and knowing no one and having to have roommates. And the roommate situation was terrifying. It was so terrifying. I never want to go back to being a college student having to pick roommates. But mine were random. And the first girl that started in my bedroom, it was like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
And then 2 girls in each bedroom. So the first girl that started in my bedroom with me, like, that did not work out. And like a month in, we actually like switched. So she went into the other bedroom, and then the girl that was in that bedroom, who I really liked, came into my room.
Okay.
And then the roommate situation was pretty fine. And my roommate, she's still one of my best friends to this day. But going to school there was a very interesting experience. There's a lot of mixed takes on what that school is. I dropped out because I'm under the belief that it was a cult.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And there are a lot of people that feel the same way, but there's also a lot of people that don't. And I think that's what a cult is.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of really weird Christian values that they instilled into us that I just did not agree with, because I had grown up Christian. I'd grown up studying the Bible. I taught the Bible. I'd, done this my whole life. And then I went to school there, and, they basically were they would tell us that we were better than everybody else. We were chosen because we were at school there. So, like, because we went to school at Highlands College, we were chosen, and we were special. And
no one else was, basically.
We were kind of above everybody else.
Okay.
Which I did not agree with. And then when it came to worship ministry, I went into it knowing that I knew what I was doing, because I had done it. It had been my job already, but I wanted to expand and grow. But I didn't speak like the other girls that were in that program, and I didn't dress like them. I didn't look like them. And I always kind of talk about, like, Christianese.
Okay.
Where you say the certain Christian words, and you sound like the perfect Christian because you say all the right words that you hear everybody say at church. And I've just never been that type of person. I've always been very blunt and very just what I am. Yeah. And I'm not really a sweet talker. And I think that really affected what they thought of me there, because I just was not like them. And even though, I had the knowledge and the want to learn and, like, the talent and everything, they just would not allow me to progress or learn. And there was one time at the big campus that I was told that I can't play my guitar on stage and sing at the same time because I'm too performative when I'm on stage. Oh. And that was just like, are you kidding me? Like, that was just one of those things I was like, you guys are weird here. Yeah. Like, you guys are weird. And there was just other things, too, within that place that were very odd. The classic Christian school where you had to, like, sign papers that you wouldn't, like, have sex with people and, like, all that kind of stuff. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, girl. Yeah. Contracts. One of my friends had to do, like, a contract where she had to, like, break up with her boyfriend because they had sex before marriage, and they had to, like, sign a contract that they, like, wouldn't be together throughout the rest of school. Yeah, she had to have, like, a conversation with a man, and then her and her boyfriend. And, like, yeah, just, like, weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. And that was what it was. Like, there were so many rules on us, and so many, they just really wanted us to think we were, like, a higher calling. Yeah. And it was weird. And then there was other stuff, too, where, like, one of my friends, his grandmother passed away, and one of the rules in the college was you could only miss, like, a certain number of classes before you had to retake the semester.
Oh.
So, and it was all under the umbrella of like, this is building you spiritually and holding you accountable so you can't miss classes.
Okay.
But his grandma died and he had to go back and he missed more classes than he was supposed to. And so they told him like, hey, you have to retake the semester, which means you have to pay to retake the semester. So a lot of that stuff too, where like kids were getting held back and everything, but they were having to pay to do it just because they would miss classes and stuff like that. So
that's crazy.
It was pretty wild, and it was so weird to be in because I felt like at the time it really felt like I was the only one that was sitting there being like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not buying into this Kool-Aid. And I felt like I was the only person that was saying that because everybody else was just so like, you don't know until you're in a situation like that, but everybody else was just so like worshipful towards the pastor of the church and the leadership. And, you know, those kids did want to be on stage, and it's a huge church. Like, if you look it up, Church of the Highlands, it's massive.
Okay.
And, you know, everybody wanted to be on stage and on camera and all that stuff. And like, everyone just pretended that it wasn't the way that it was.
Yeah.
So that was a crazy experience, and I honestly left that kind of hating God because I had to drop out, which was hard because I had made friends there, and I had made a community, and I had a job that I loved, and I loved the city, and that's where I really like found country music was in Birmingham.
Wow.
And it was hard because it was like, I need to leave. And I'd gotten into a really bad relationship while I was there as well, where he was abusive and really took a toll on me and my self-confidence, because I was so young. I was 18, 19, and, you know, thought, like, I was so lonely down there, and so found this guy, and turns out he was not a good guy. And so then the semester, or the year, I finished the year. I did the whole year.
Okay, so you did just 1 year then.
Yep, I did 1 year and called my parents and I was like, I need to drop out and come home. And luckily my parents were like, okay, we understand.
Yeah.
And let me come home. But leaving there, I really like hated church. I was like, these people are so weird. And in the sense of like not right, like not ethical, not moral. And so I went back home and didn't know what to do with myself. I was like depressed because of the relationship ending the way it did. And he cheated on me with a younger girl, and he was like 20, 21, and she was 17. And that messes with your head.
Yeah.
Like it does. It messes with your head. And I was so like inexperienced and just like wanting to have this like adult relationship and all this stuff. And you know, he was like a gym bro and did like the whole thing and was like obsessed with body image, and like would compare my body to like his friend's girlfriend's body, and like just it really messed with my head. And when I went home, I was very like sad, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there's no point to this. Like, I hate God. Honestly, that's what my mindset was. I was like, why would God send me there?
Yeah.
Like, you know, in my head, I'm like, this was a waste. I just wasted an entire year and came out of this, like, hating myself and hating God. And so I went back home, and I kind of just, like, laid around a little bit for a while. And then finally I was like, okay, I need to get my crap together. And I had come out with a song. I started doing the country music really heavily again, and I come out with a song that was about the boyfriend cheating on me, and I went a little crazy. Like, I won't lie to you. I did. I went kind of crazy and put out this song that was about him, and his friends were reaching out to me, and it was like a whole thing. And but for some reason it really made me feel like good.
How old were you at this time?
19.
19, okay.
So I was like, everybody knows now. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take this music thing seriously. And so I was like, I'm going to save up money and I'm going to move to Nashville in a year.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to move before I'm 21. And my parents were not so supportive of that because they were like, you're going to just move to a big city and with who?
And do what?
Yeah. How are you going to make money? How are you going to... I was like, no, I'm doing it. Like, I need out of this house. I'm doing it. Like, I'm going and doing it. And so I just worked my butt off for, like, it was like 8 months by that point. I just worked my butt off. I had like 5 different jobs. And I called my old boss and I was like, can I have my job back? And he gave me my job back. And
I love that.
Yeah. I got to work for the church again and was slowly kind of starting to like church again. But at the same time, there was a part of me that was like, I just need money.
Yeah.
Honestly. And it wasn't the best heart posture. But I just wanted out of Indiana and I just wanted to go to Nashville. And so I just worked really hard and was not caring about God, honestly. Like, to be completely honest with you, I was just like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, I hated the church and I didn't really want to be a part of it because, you know, it was just the people really burned me. And then later on, I actually ended up kind of getting not like fired or let go, but it was kind of a suggestion that I needed to leave my job at the church before I moved to Nashville just because the lines were getting way too blurry between country music and church music. And the pastor there, not my boss, but the pastor there was like, yeah, you can't be doing all this, like going to the bars, putting out these songs, and then coming and leading worship, which I honestly firmly disagreed with. Yeah. And was like, I think you can do both. I'm not drinking. I'm not going to the bars and drinking. No. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just there, and I'm just playing music. Yeah. But they didn't love that, and that's fine. You know, they have a certain image they want to uphold for their church, and so I respected that and just kind of left. But then I finally saved up enough money and decided to move to Nashville. And in that time, I had met somebody online who worked in the music industry. And we started dating, and then I moved to Nashville. And it was hard because I was living alone, and I knew nobody. So the only people that I knew were through that boyfriend that I had. Okay. I knew no one. Like, I knew nobody else. It was only people that he knew. And he was very strict on the fact that, like, I can only know the people that he knows. And, you know, he was very controlling. In a sense, I was not allowed to do things unless he was there.
That makes sense.
And that was really hard moving to a new city because you want to, like, go and figure it out. And like I hadn't even been to so many places in Nashville until we'd broken up because it was like I wasn't allowed to go unless he was there. And if I did decide to go do something that he wasn't there for, he would cause problems with me, like you fight, you know. Yeah. And that was hard too, and I just felt really lost, honestly, when I first moved here, because my grandma had also passed away right when I moved. Who was my bestie, you know? She was my girl. Wow. And she knew everything about me, and she was kind of like the one person that knew it all. Like
that you could go to no matter what.
Yes, because, see, my mom could get me in trouble, but my grandma couldn't get me in trouble. So,
grandmas are the best. They're the best.
Now I know that she was telling my mother everything, but that's okay. I still didn't get in trouble, so it's okay. But she passed away, and so then I felt even more lonely and stuck in this relationship and then trapped because I wasn't able to really do my music.
And that's why you came down here.
And that's why I came here and saved all this money and worked so hard was to come and try music. Yeah. And just try. And I couldn't. Like, I was only allowed to do things that he orchestrated for me. And so eventually we broke up, and I was like, I have got to get myself together. Yeah. I was like, I need to stop just getting in these bad relationships. And I need to love myself, but, like, also do what God wants me to do. I felt like for years I was really just trying to make my own way while still praying about it, but, like, still doing what I wanted. Yeah. Like, you know that feeling you have when, like, you know God doesn't want you to do it.
And you do it anyways.
And you just do it anyways. That's what I was doing over and over and over again. When I broke up with them, I was like, all right, it's time to get myself together. And so I really just started focusing on loving being by myself.
That's amazing.
And loving writing songs by myself in my room, which is what I grew up doing, and that's what I always did. And then I kind of had lost that a little bit in moving here, and I really started to think about what God wants for me in my life, and my purpose is more than just getting back at ex-boyfriends, which honestly is what I did. Like, I would do that over and over. I would break up with a boyfriend, write a nasty song about him, put it out, and make fun of him. And, you know, I regret it? No, because I think really good songs came out of it. But at the same time, I think I was just, like, so young and hurt and just, like, wanted to be heard. Yeah. And wanted to almost, like, avenge myself.
That makes sense.
And I was going about it the wrong way. I should have been really diving into my relationships with, like, my family and my relationship with the Lord, because I had lost, you know, my relationship with my sisters during that relationship that I was in. My sisters did not like him and did not like us together because they knew that he was not treating me right. And so I lost my sisters during that and came out of the relationship and was like, what am I doing? And so I finally, like, started going to church by myself, which was so scary.
That's terrifying.
It's so scary. Like,
I moved to North Carolina by myself and knew no one. And it was like, okay. And, like, there are some churches that welcome you in, and there's some that don't even look at you, and you just keep going, and you just sit by yourself, and you're like,
yeah.
Am I supposed to be
here? Am I in the right spot? Yeah.
Am I in someone's seat that I don't know about?
Yeah. No, it's so scary. Going to church by yourself is terrifying. But I did. I started going to church by myself, and I started just, like, spending quiet time with God, which I honestly had never done. I grew up Christian. I grew up loving the Lord and loving teaching people about him. Yeah. Like, I have so much heart for that, and I have such a heart especially for young women. And, you know, I was preaching all these things, but I was not doing it. And I finally just kind of had hit my breaking point where I'm like, I am not the person that God has called me to be. And really just spent time alone in my apartment, reading my Bible, listening to worship music, just talking to God, driving in the car and just, like, talking to him. Yeah. And just, like, trying to, like, feel his presence again and almost remember that, like, hey, actually God does love you and you didn't screw up your life. Like, you're going to be okay. Because at that time I felt really lost because I had nobody here. I really felt like I had nobody here except for my one friend at the time. But I felt so lonely. I was like, how am I gonna show up to the places that him and I went together and that we were both involved in? Yeah. And, like, not have people side-eye me. Like, they all hate me because, you know, I did this. I broke up with this person. And it was just, like, so hard and so scary. But God, like, it's always crazy to me because I feel like I get in these spots where I hate God. And then he just, like, fixes it. Yeah. Like, he just opens the doors. And he just always takes care of me. Which is so crazy because you can be the type of person that, like, wants nothing to do with him and he will never stop chasing you. Which was, I really got to see that. And it happens every time. Every time I turn away from him, he always chases me down and helps me out. He's never, like, not once let me down. And so during that season, I really got closer with a lot of my friendships, female friendships, and I started doing way better in music. Like, it was insane how once I was able to actually, like, fly a little bit, things really started taking off more, and I started doing way better and getting cooler opportunities, and I never needed him for that, you know? Yeah. I never needed my ex to do that. Like, I did it on my own.
You went to Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah. Which was so cool. But I think as women, a lot of times, like, we think we need a guy to do it for us. Yeah. And you know, honestly, like, I grew up with a great dad that did just do things for us. And so that's always been my mindset. It's like, I get with a boyfriend, he's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was doing music for me, but he wasn't. And, you know, as soon as I got out of that, I was like, wait, I can do this on my own. Like, I don't need a dude. I just need me, myself, and Jesus. And we can do it. And I think that was kind of God's reward for breaking off that relationship and for getting away. I think that was God's reward to me.
That's amazing.
Like, see, I was holding you back because you were in the wrong spot. But now you listened to me. You did the hard thing. And now I'm opening all of these doors for you. So he really opened music for me. And now I'm in a relationship with a godly man who really loves me. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, I think we're going to be getting engaged soon. So I'm really excited.
That's amazing.
Yes. And he just like came out of nowhere. And I just feel like it was just God being like, Trissity, just listen. Just stop. Just listen. And I think to anybody listening to the podcast right now, like, if you're in this season where you're like, what am I doing? Like, who am I? I don't know what to do with my life. I feel lost. I feel alone. Just stop and just breathe and talk to the Lord and ask him to open those doors for you, because he will. He will open them abundantly. And I got to see that happen in real life, in my life. And so now I like God again.
I love that.
But yeah, so
I needed to hear that, because I feel like I'm in a season of not understanding what I'm supposed to be doing with work, and I kind of feel like I was chasing money like you were, and it wasn't until yesterday at church where I felt like the Lord was like, all you care about is money. You don't feel like you're doing enough because you're not making money for your household, but I'm the sole provider. And that's something that I just needed to hear, and so thank you for sharing that story with me. Yeah. Wow, that was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing.
And it doesn't go to say everything's perfect.
No,
like, not everything's perfect. I still honestly don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. I don't even know if I'm gonna do music. I don't even know. I still don't know, but I do know I am where God wants me to be right now, and so I'm just gonna live in that, even if it doesn't look like what I thought it was gonna look like. Still just gonna enjoy it and live in it. And I know he's got something for all of us. Like, he has something amazing planned for you, even if you don't know what it is. Like, just keep praying. Like, just keep, honestly, like, asking, you shall receive. And God wants to give those things to us. So
thank you so much. Yeah. Is there anything that you feel like God is doing in your life right now that you can just evidently see and just know moving forward that you would like to share?
Yeah. I feel like God currently right now is really working on my heart, in my relationship currently. Yeah. Like, my boyfriend is like very even-tempered and very calm and he puts up with so much from me, and I'm very fiery and very like, I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And I think God's been working on my heart a lot to not speak so much. Wow. And to just be quiet sometimes. And I can see that actively. Like, I think he keeps testing me with that. Yeah.
I can, You know my husband, and he's very straight line. Yeah. Everything's great. Life is great. And I'm like, you don't understand. Life is not great.
You're like,
I'm dying. Yeah. He's like, okay.
What are you going to
do about it? Yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh. But a couple weeks ago, Lord just said, listen and obey. And I was like, okay, I will listen. Because Ike goes, you just talk sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But why are you just talking to talk? Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. Why am I talking to just talk? Yeah. Like, there's nothing that's coming out of my mouth that's actually productive. Yeah. In this conversation. Yeah. So I can tell you that you are not alone in that I am working on that too in my marriage right now. And we're only 4 months in, and that is still something that I am learning every single day. Yeah.
And we'll probably both be learning it forever.
Yeah.
But I think the thing we forget is that words actually hold power.
They do.
Like, the Lord spoke the earth into existence. Like, he used his words, and we're made in the image of God. And so our words have such an impact. And I feel like I can be so guilty of speaking negatively and getting down in the dumps and just, like, being like, everything's over and like very dramatic, very out there.
And you're like, and they're just sitting there looking at you like,
yeah.
What are you?
Yeah.
Weren't you just praising God
right
2 minutes ago saying that life is great?
Yeah.
Why aren't we going back to him?
Yeah.
And that's what Ike goes. He's like, where did this go turn and spiral? Why did we spiral? Where are we going with this?
And I think God's sitting up there looking at us being like, you're in everything you've prayed for. Like, you prayed for this. Like, you know, I prayed to be with a good man that loves me, that I'm going to get married to. I prayed for this. But then I can just talk so negatively about other things that make me angry. And, you know, I prayed to be in Nashville. And then I get angry because I'm like, well, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where everybody else is. And, like, you know, but God's sitting up there like, Trissity, like, you asked for this. You wanted this. I gave this to you.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think a lot of girls kind of struggle with the words and getting down about stuff.
It is true. I feel like it's a mental battle.
Mm-hmm.
It really, truly is, that a lot of people don't understand what women do have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times. Not just in the music industry, but in any job, in life, and in anything. And I'm not saying that we're perfect and we need to be, I'm trying to think of the word, like, we're not perfect and we're not trying to, like, have you hype me up the entire time, and I don't want things handed to me.
Yeah.
But you looking at me a certain way, and the way that you speak to me and the way that you have words have come over me do affect you negatively.
Yeah.
And depression and anxiety is a real thing.
Yeah.
Because of words that are spoken over you,
mm-hmm.
no matter what, or the way that you're treated in a situation or in the industry, or not given the same opportunities because you're a woman at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, I think women go through a lot. And honestly, just like our bodies.
That too.
Our health. I mean, like, I'm on 10 different emotions in an hour. And I'm great one week and hate everything the next week. And
I'm in the hate the week right now. That's where I'm at.
You're in the hate week? I'm about to be in the hate week.
Yeah.
I'm about to be. I'm like, warning everybody, sending out messages like, warning.
Literally.
This is the week.
I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I don't like anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, we're on one of those days. That's okay.
But it's weird because that's our bodies. It's our, like, composition.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to overcome that, I think. And it's just kind of looked at as, like, normal for us.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, well, yep, this is the week where I feel like crap.
Change your mindset.
Yep.
You're like...
And I'm not good at that. I'm not good at changing my mindset. But I think that's something, like, a lot of women, we need to hold ourselves accountable to.
Yeah.
Is like, I mean, think about all the single mothers that have to, like, deal with their screaming, crying children, and they have to keep it together.
And they do.
And I'm like, how am I ever going to do that? I'm like, that's going to have to be Jesus himself coming down to earth and, like, placing a magic wand on my head and being like, Trissity, you now have stable emotions. Because I
remember.
Yeah. But it is important what you think about, you bring about, and I do truly believe that.
Yeah.
So I need to hold myself accountable to that more often.
And also just having good men in your life also help you with that too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because he's the one thing that's not stressing me out.
Yeah.
You know? Like, praise God. I'm so over the men that stress you out.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
If you're in a relationship where he stresses you out, get out. Trust me, it's much better on the other side.
There's a lot more that God has in store for you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do not be with the one that stresses you out.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
A calm, level-headed man that you pray for. Because I actually prayed for a man that cooks. That was, like, my one thing. I was like, I want a country boy with blonde hair, blue eyes, and that cooks. I got the cook, because Ike cooks every meal, every single night for dinner. I got the blue eyes, and I guess I moved to Nashville to follow a boy from Washington, so I guess that's the little country aspect of it. And I always make that joke. I was like, God, like, you knew I didn't need a country boy, but you gave me a little country who loves country music and NASCAR and everything else, because he's the most un-Washington Seattle person I've ever met.
Yeah. I love that, though. That's true.
Yeah, like, if you, like, true. Look at him from where he's at, I'm like, you grew up on NASCAR and baseball and country music. That Washington, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But God was like, here. And I was like, Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And it comes out of, like you said, the most left field, was not expecting it, but it's the best gift that anyone can ever give you. So,
no,
yeah.
It really is.
But thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Again, if you guys want your story on this podcast, I have an email in our bio and Instagram. Please email me. I would love to have your story out on our testimony and on our YouTube and on our social media. So again, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.
Bye.